Sixth-generation fighters are coming, and everything else will be obsolete. The American development and deployment of fifth-generation stealth aircraft like the F-35 Lightning is one of the central stories of today's security zeitgeist. But behind the scenes, several countries are already looking ahead to the design of a sixth-generation jet. The relentless pace of research is arguably driven less by combat experience, of which there is little, and more by a sober assessment that the development of a successor will take multiple decades and is better started sooner rather than later. The sixth-generation fighter developers can be divided into two categories: the United States, which has developed and deployed two stealth fighter types, and countries that have skipped or given up on their attempt to build fifth-generation jets. These latter countries have concluded that doing so is so time-consuming and expensive that it makes more sense to focus on tomorrow's technology than try to catch up with today's. The latter include France, Germany, and the United Kingdom, which are in the preliminary stages of developing sixth-generation Future Combat Air System and Tempest fighters. Russia, which has given up on developing its Su-57 stealth fighter for at least a decade, but is talking up a conceptual sixth-generation MiG-41 interceptor, and Japan, which is contemplating a domestic sixth-generation F-3 stealth jet, but may settle for a foreign-inspired fifth-generation design. The Chinese military has reportedly begun work on a sixth-generation fighter. The Indian Air Force formally announced plans to develop sixth-generation combat systems during the Air Force Day on October 8, 2020. Indian Air Force Chief Rakesh Bhattaria has said that advanced medium combat aircraft will have sixth-generation characteristics. Currently, the United States has two projects: the Air Force's Penetrating Counter-Air, a long-range stealth fighter to escort stealth bombers, and the Navy's F/A-XX. So far, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and Northrop Grumman have unveiled sixth-generation concepts. Stealth and beyond visual-range missiles are here to stay. The various sixth-generation concepts mostly feature many of the same technologies. Two critical characteristics of fifth-generation fighters will remain centrally important to the sixth: stealthy airframes and long-range missiles. As cost-effective ground-based air defense systems like the S-400 can now threaten vast swaths of airspace, stealth aircraft need to be capable of penetrating anti-access/area denial bubbles and eliminate air defense from a safe distance. Additionally, stealth jets also steeply outperform non-stealth aircraft in aerial war games. Thus, low radar cross-section and radar-absorbent materials will be a necessary but not sufficient feature of sixth-generation fighters. Some theorists argue that stealthy airframes may eventually be rendered obsolete by advanced sensor technology, and stealthy airframes can't be upgraded as easily as avionics and weapons. Therefore, jamming electronic warfare and infrared obscuring defenses will also rise in importance. Beyond visual range missiles will remain a key technology. Extent missiles like the AIM-120D can already hit targets over 100 miles away, but realistically must be fired much closer to have a good chance of a kill against an agile, fighter-sized target. However, new ramjet-powered high-speed air-to-air missiles like the British Meteor and Chinese PL-15 point to why future air warriors may mostly fight at great distances from their adversaries. Awesome X-ray vision pilot helmets. The F-35 has pioneered sophisticated helmet-mounted displays that can see through the airframe for superior situational awareness, display key instrument data, and target missiles via a helmet-mounted sight. Though these helmets currently have significant teething issues, they will likely become a standard feature in future fighters, possibly supplanting cockpit instrument panels. Voice-activated command interfaces may also ease the hefty task load expected of fighter pilots. Larger airframes, more efficient engines. As air bases and carriers become more vulnerable to missile attacks, warplanes will need to be able to fly longer distances and carry more weapons while doing so, which is difficult when a stealth jet must rely solely on internal fuel tanks and weapons loads. The natural solution is a larger plane. As air forces expect within visual range aerial dogfights to be rare and possibly mutually suicidal, they're showing a greater willingness to trade off maneuverability to emphasize high sustainable speeds and a greater payload. These design imperatives may gel well with the development of advanced adaptive G-variable cycle engines that can alter their configurations mid-flight to perform better at high speeds, like a turbojet, or more fuel efficiently at low speeds, like a high bypass turbofan.